The unelected state is one of Trump's greatest enemies that he has sworn to dismantle, to root out if he wins in 2024. And the Supreme Court could be giving him a head start in this huge court case against the Securities and Exchange Commission. Let's break into it with these articles. But first, welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TenNapel. This is where all the happy patriots are. Let's learn a little something from this article in The Atlantic. The case that could destroy the government. I like the sound of that one already. What was once a fringe legal theory now stands as a real chance of being adopted by the Supreme Court. This is the Supreme Court that Trump gave us, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. This Wednesday, the Supreme Court will hear a case that poses the most direct challenge yet to the legitimacy of the modern federal government. The right-wing legal movement's target is the administrative state, which I'm all for. Destroy them. Get them. The agencies and institutions that set standards for safety in the workplace, limit environmental hazards and damage, and impose rules on financial markets to ensure their stability and basic fairness, among many other important things. One little note they didn't mention in this is that the administrative state is usually not voted on, they're appointed, so the people can't do anything about it. So you have people where I'm supposed to be able to face my opponents, or vote on them in a ballot box, and all the government does is create this administrative state over me to remove my license or to require special licenses for me to be able to work. And they can destroy my freedoms without ever being held accountable to a vote. And so this is a weird case that comes from nowhere, right? The case, Securities and Exchange Commission versus jarczy, threatens all of that. Terrifyingly, this gambit might succeed. Now, anytime they say it's terrifying if it succeeds, we all know that we, free-loving Americans, want it to succeed. Just remember that. Those are the general rules. If the leftist media doesn't want it to succeed, we're rooting for it. The case involves garden variety securities fraud. George R. Jarczy Jr., a right-wing activist and conservative radio talk show host, sounds like my kind of guy, ran a pair of investment funds with $24 million in assets, but he misrepresented how the funds were run, paid himself and his partner exorbitant fees, and inflated the assets' value. As punishment, the SEC fined him several $100,000 and prohibited him from working in some parts of the securities industry. Very standard stuff. Okay, but get this. This is the good part. Jarczy responded with what can be described only as chutzpah. He didn't just contest the SEC's ruling. He alleged that the SEC's entire process against him was unconstitutional. And I tend to agree with that. Among other things, he asserted that Congress never had the authority to empower the Securities Exchange Commission and that the SEC adjudicator who punished him was too independent from presidential control. This is going to help with set precedent with Trump if he can dismantle all of these corrupt, unelected agencies in government, the bloated federal government. So this does weigh into 2024. I'm hoping this guy makes his case and fights the Securities Exchange Commission and beats them because they do not have a constitutional right to exist. And we're going to find out at the Supreme Court. This is where we're counting on you, Amy Coney Barrett and Gorsuch and Kavanaugh and Sam Alito and Clarence Thomas to do the right thing. I'm Doug in Exile.